Hey gang, today we're going to do Heaven by Los Lonely Boys. A huge hit for them early in like 2004, something like that. A great little guitar tune. We're going to do the intro and we'll do the solo too, which is way cool. All right, hey, just a quick note about this. We're coming out with this video on a Wednesday, which is different. Usually it's on a Sunday. Well, I'm going to try and do 2 videos a week. On Sunday, it'll be what I want to release. And on Wednesday, it'll be sort of the request line. It may end up being both the request line, but whatever. And I'm suspecting that Wednesday will tend to be songs and so forth. We'll try this for a while, see how it works, and hopefully I can keep up. I know I travel a lot, so sometimes it may not happen. Well, anyway, hey, if you like the video, please click the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for 2 of these every week. Okay, see you in just a second. All right, gang, we are going to go over this note for note. First things first, please download the tab in the description. It's going to help you out a lot. Second thing is, we're playing this in E flat, so everything is tuned down. This is E flat tuning. So you're going to tune everything down a half step. Jimi Hendrix did it, Stevie Ray did it, Eddie Van did it, and guess what? Los Lonely Boys do it too. So that's why we're doing it here. So when I say it's in G, it's really in G flat, okay? So let's go over this now note for note. First we're going to do the intro, then we're going to do the intro solo, and then we are going to do the main solo. So first, the chords, simple. It's basically almost the entire song is just going between G and A minor. Basically it. Okay, now this is a great illustration of what we've been talking about in the lessons on playing the right notes and chord tones. Basically, almost this entire solo and intro can be understood by understanding this little G major that's going on here at the 7th fret. So if you understand this little triad here and the notes around it, it's really going to make the solo and everything and the intro really easy. Let's cover the intro first. Okay, so the intro kind of goes like this, slowly. Now these are all double stops on the 1st and 2nd strings. I forgot to tell you, I'm using kind of a Marshall sound, a little bit overdriven. Don't overdo it with the overdrive, okay? No distortion pedals on this, guys and gang. Just the overdrive of the amp, okay? All right, so now these are all double stops on the 1st and 2nd strings. So it starts out by playing 8 and 7. Now we're going to finger 10 and 8 and slide up to 12 and 10. And back down to 10 and 8. Then this one is 13 and 12. Slide down to 12 and 10. Slide down to 10 and 8. And that's it. Listen to the record, look at the tab. I think we're all set with that. Now, here's the opening solo. Now, the reason why I want to walk you through the opening solo is, while the main solo is a little bit longer and has some cooler tricks, they're mainly the same tricks, and they're all coming out of this little chord. So the opening solo kind of goes like this. Let me see if I can remember it exactly. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. So it starts out with this little trick that he uses throughout the solo. So we're going to do this once and kind of memorize it. And then I'm not going to tell you all the frets and all that, which you can get from the tab. But we'll go through it very clearly once. It's this little trick. So this is basically on the 10th fret, which is an extension from this G scale. We're going to bend that up a whole step, which is really this note right here. See how that's the same as the 7th on the 1st? Anyway, we're going to bend up this 10th fret, whole step, then we're going to play the 10th fret without being bent, and then play 8th, 9th on the 3rd, back up to the 8th and give it vibrato. Okay, so it's like this. All right. That's basically the trick. He's going to use that so many times that it doesn't make sense to keep talking about it. We'll just say, there's the trick again. Okay, so here it starts out like this. Okay, so that's going 10th. That little end part is 10th, 8th on the 2nd, 9 on the 3rd. So 10th on the 1st, 8th on the 2nd, 9 on the 3rd. Okay? Then the next line is this. So 10th, we bend it up, then play the 10th on the 1st string. And then play our little thing here. Now a nice little cool line here. Okay, so this is walking up from the 9th, 8th on the 10th, 8th on the 2nd, 10th on the 3rd, 7th on the 1st, then we're playing an 8th, hammer on and pull off, 7th, 8th, 10th on the 2nd, back to the 7th on the 1st, and then our little thing. Okay. Last part is 2/8. We're actually using the 9th on the 3rd as a pedal. 2/8 on the 2nd, 2/10 on the 2nd, then our pedal, and then an open B string, and then an 8th. If you play, it sounds bad if you play it slowly, but when you play it fast, that open string doesn't matter at all. Sounds good. Now, if you want to play something diatonic, you can play this. By moving down from 8th, 9th to 7th, and then playing the 8th on the 2nd. But it doesn't really matter. You can just play that open B string. Sounds good. That's it for the intro solo. Again, look at the tab, listen to the record if you want to get it a little more exactly. Okay, here's the beef. Here's the main solo. So let's see if I can remember this one. Okay, let's play it slowly first, and then we'll play it line by line. So here's kind of the whole solo slowly. Messed that last line up a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. It goes like this. All right. When you get used to that, you'll actually rip it really quickly, and it's not so hard. Okay, so let's go from the first line first. So it starts out with this. So it starts out on the 10th on the 1st string, 2 of those, and then our lick. Okay, here's the next lick. Very similar to the opening, but just a little bit different. So listen to it carefully. Again, use the tab. It's going to help you a lot. But we'll talk about what he's doing there that's really cool. All right. So use the tab and you'll get it. 2 comments on it though. First is that I believe I believe I have it wrong because on the record I think it's like this instead of this. Now, to me, whether you do this or whether you do this is pretty much immaterial. Nobody's going to care, and both of those things sound good. For some reason, my fingers always go there, so I just didn't feel like re-recording again and again and again to retrain myself to play this instead of... Anyway, just be aware that that's what it is on the record, and, you know, here's me, slap on the wrist. Whatever. Shame on me. But you can play it however you want. Okay? However you want that one. Here's the next line. Okay. So the first thing is we're doing our pivot from 8th to 9th, 8th on the 2nd to 9th on the 3rd again. And then we're playing 10th on the 1st and 8th on the 2nd 3 times. Now 3 more times again. Now we're going to walk down, first sliding up on the 1st string to the 12th, then 8th, then 7th, and then our little thing again. Then we'll walk up. 8th on the 2nd, 10th on the 2nd, 7th on the 1st, and 8th on the 2nd. Notice he's ending on a chord tone. That happens a lot. He's ending on these chord tones of G, right? So it's like this. Okay, here's the next line. This is probably the hardest one. It's always the hardest for me to remember, too, when I'm starting. It gets kind of natural once you're into it, but it's hard to remember when you start. Anyway, it is for me. So if I mess it up once, oh well. Sorry about that. I'll try my best not to. Okay, so it starts out with a similar thing to this. So that's how it starts out. But notice that I'm playing something a little bit different. I'm playing 10th on the 1st, then I'm playing an open E, and then I'm playing this 8th fret a couple times, like so. Okay, now here's the thing. Okay, so we kind of wind into this by playing our usual 8th and 9th, 8th on the 2nd, 9th on the 3rd, and then back up 8th on the 2nd and bend on the 10th. And now what we're playing is 8th on the 1st, 9th on the 1st, 10th on the 1st, like so. Now, if you want to omit the next notes, it's totally okay and it's going to sound great. But what I do is I play the 9th on the 3rd and then an open 1st string, open E string, like so. Again. And then a 3rd time. And the last time you don't play those notes. And then the 15th on the 1st, twice. Okay, now the essential notes, you don't have to add those. I call these spacer notes. When I play this note right here on the 9th, like here. Here's a spacer note. And here's another spacer note. When the player plays this on the song, he's really good at using spacer notes, and I suspect he's using a bunch of open strings and just trying to keep the time there, and it sounds really great. Stevie Ray did this a lot. I'm not as good at that. So what I do is that's how I find I make it sound the closest is by playing on the third string, the ninth, and then the open E. So I play this. Okay, if you want to omit those two notes, it's going to sound fine. And it's much, much easier. Okay, you just have to be syncopated and it'll sound great. And then the 15th twice. Okay, coming into the home stretch, gang. So here's the last line. Okay, so it starts out with a little warm-up. We're playing 8th, 7th, open E string, 10th on the second, and then 7th a few times. And now get ready for this lick. This is a fast lick, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. It's a down-up lick, so it's basically just a little finger exercise. We're going to start with the 8th, go down, then come back up to the 7th, go down, then come back up to the 10th on the second. It's just kind of going down and up through the scale. So it's like this. All those are exactly the same. So notice every time I can, I'm going to use a pull-off. So right here, I'm not picking, I'm just pulling off. But now when I come back up here, I have to pick. But now when I come to here, I don't have to pick. All right, so practice doing that over and over. Okay, and it gets easy. Now on the last one, that's the hardest part of the thing is you have to shift position. So that one's just a pull off from 7th to the 5th on the 4th string, and then playing the 7th on the 5th string and back up to the 5th on the 4th string and ending it there. So here it is in all of its glory, slowly. Ooh, one more time. Okay? And by the way, the only thing that's different in this song is this bridge now. So it starts with an A minor, walk up to a B minor, F, C, D. And now back to our G. A minor. And that's it for the song. All right, gang, this was a long lesson. We covered the intro, we covered that intro solo, way cool, and we covered the regular solo, also really cool. What I love about this is how few notes he uses and still creates a totally kick-ass solo. All right, gang, until next time, we will see you on down the road.